Hey everyone, this is the Corrupted Paladin, and I'm here with another Top 10. With the recent release of Sun and Moon, I decided I need to make a Pokemon video. What do I love the most about video games? Besides controls and awesome stories. Villains, of course. Come on, I can't help it. I live and breathe good villains, and when you find one that just clicks in a game, you know there's a reason you're fighting this fight. So, does Pokemon have good villains? Yes, I'd even say the worst teams still have profit from them. But today, I decided to do my top 10 evil Pokemon villain teams. Now you might be confused. Isn't there only 6 generations out? How do you have 10 villains? Well, for this list I'm counting the villains from Sun and Moon and villains from the side games in this too. There are some actually decent villains in the side games to acknowledge and they're on this list. Get the rules? Then let's begin. Number 10. Team Dim Sum. Now, I'll be honest, this is the only team on the list that I really don't find that spark in them. They're on here because their intentions are cruel, but they're very similar to another team who accomplishes these deeds even more harshly. Team Dim Sum's goal is to capture Pokemon through mind control to gain limitless energy for a company. Now that is plain animal abuse, but with putting others in danger, they're basically harmless. Don't get me wrong, them using Pokemon this way is awful, but they aren't doing it to hurt anyone, it's only to fulfill their selfish wants. You could argue that's the same with the other teams, which is true, but they involve a lot more harm towards people and Pokemon. Gotta give these guys respect though, they're the only interesting villains from the Rangers series. Number 9. Team Flare. Why so low, Team Flare? The awkward moment when you realize that in your first game you named yourself Flare. Team Flare, you've brought my name to shame! If you're a pretty average Pokemon fan, you know that Team Flare is boring, forgettable, and the boss is kinda cool. I'm still wondering how these idiots found awesome legendaries. I don't know. Their main goal is to either bring eternal life to all those who are beautiful, or destroy all who are not. Depends which game you get. So that goal is pretty dumb. Like, there can't be this many selfishly beautiful people, right? I guess there's Hollywood, and YouTube. But come on! The only reason they made this place is because in Y, their sacrifice of all things ugly will end up killing all Pokemon on the earth too. They're willing to kill Pokemon for their plan. That's nuts! Why couldn't that have been the plan? To make humans immortal, or to kill all Pokemon? That would have been some cool creepy plan. You know, use as blackmail or something. Like, hey, if you don't listen to us, then we're gonna kill the Pokemon. That would make sense! Oh well, they made it this far. Number 8. Spoiler warnings. Skip ahead to the time shown to get to the next part if you don't want spoilers for Sun and Moon. So with the recent release of Sun and Moon, we were given trailers of this team called Team Skull. And they're kind of exactly what they look like. Their only intentions are to make money to survive, which, you know, actually isn't that bad except they're being funded by someone else that we'll talk about later. They're mostly made up of people who failed the island challenges, and that's basically the only reason they do what they do. They just bother people because, well, they don't have money to survive, and they failed these challenges, I don't know. Why are they hiring Flare? Well, unlike Flare, they at least have a good reason for what they're doing, and they take a hold of that. That and they're gangsters, and since this is based in America, you know, we gotta have the gangsters, yo! Gotta get our beat and rhyme on. Anyway, that was awful. Please, someone shoot me now. This is awful. Anyway, how come they're better than Team Flare with already so little knowledge? One good reason. They're memorable. The leader, I remember him. He looks like a nut. Nuts are good villains. I remember the admin with her cool hair and how she reminds me of Michonne. Oh man, Walking Dead references. And then that cool guy who looks like his Pokemon and is so truly obviously related to those two. Yeah, it's really obvious. I can only remember Lysander from Team Flare. Everyone else is a forgettable blur in my mind. One thing I should note, you're more likely to be a better team when you can be remembered. Number 7. Team Rocket. I can hear all the Gen 1ers screeching now. Let me clarify. From this team and on, the Pokemon teams are awesome. These are the best of the best, and the only reason Team Rocket is this low is because they are the base of all this madness. Team Rocket is a mafia. That just made the team cooler than it is. What they do is steal Pokemon and turn them around and sell them. Evil, but can you see why this isn't so high? All they're doing is poaching and robbing, which is just standard thief stuff. But supervillains? I almost feel bad because Jesse and James were brilliant characters, but you know what they do every episode. It's what Rocket does every day. Just still, nothing more. It's not bad, but it isn't the best. They're still a great team though. Number 6. Team Magma. Our first Hoenn team is up to the base. What's scary about them? They got smart people. Like, boringly smart people. But what's fun about them? They're all a bunch of nerds who basically wimp out when you beat them. Their goal is to raise the land so there's less water. I honestly like some aspects of Team Magma better than Aqua. I think Maxie is a more interesting leader. I like their signature Pokemon better. And I think overall they're better at being villains. But Aqua has a couple advantages over them. Number 5. Team Aqua. I'm sorry, raising land will cause destruction, but flooding the land to create more ocean? That's a lot scarier! I'd rather be in a minor earthquake than a giant flood, and that's precisely Aqua's plans. They aren't as smart, but what they lack in brain they gain in brawn. Even their legendary is a total awesome powerhouse. I think I like the looks of their uniforms better too. Maybe it's because Archie looks so... I gotta stop. Team Aqua should not be taken lightly and are not a force to be reckoned with. Number 4. Cipher. Now, if you aren't unfamiliar with Cipher, showing a picture won't help. Why? Because they're as goofy as all get out. So why are they so high if they have such goofy members? What they do is freaking creepy. Cipher's main goal is to turn every Pokemon in the world into a Shadow Pokemon. Those of you who aren't familiar with Shadow Pokemon might ask, what's wrong with Shadow Pokemon? I've seen that Shadow Lugia, that was pretty sweet. Well, the only way to revert the Pokemon back to normal is to open up their heart, since it was locked away with shadows. What do you have to do to have a Pokemon lock its heart? Abuse? Torture? Hurting its friends? Starving it? Experimenting? There's countless theories that have come out saying what exactly makes a Shadow Pokemon the way it is. But one thing's for sure, Cipher must be a group of inhumane psychos to cause Pokemon to lock their hearts.